Maor, please tell us about how you use de-essing with System 6000.
Well, the de-esser in the System 6000 has a lot of parameters which help you pinpoint the problem and fix it. One of the things is important to know about de-essing is if it's done wrong, it's going to sound weird. It's going to change from S's to F's or something that is extreme, or it's going to make the S sound weird, more like either F or like shrilling a bit. So it's important to approach de-essing in a very not aggressive but cautious way, because if you use it in the right amount, it's going to help. If you go just a bit over, it might, by the way it helps, it actually can do the other way, go the other way and actually do more damage. And not every essing problem is easy to fix with a de-esser. Sometimes it's better to actually go to the file and fade in or do some automation to fix, instead of relying on a de-esser to be the the tool to fix it. It's usually best as an emergency, and if you get a project that has essing problems, it's best to talk with the engineer that he can fix it on the tracks themselves, like on the vocals or the cymbals, instead of relying on the mastering engineer to fix that, where he has to apply that on the whole mix, either in MS or in either left-right. So that's important to say from beginning. De-essing is a tool only when you can't fix it, or you just put it on and hope for the good. So the way I approach de-essing is, first of all, every de-esser has a different set of parameters. Most de-essers have a frequency and a threshold. Some de-essers have also attack and release and bandwidth. So if we look at the de-esser on the System 6000, we notice there's a threshold, there's a ratio, there's an attack, release, frequency, and curve. Those are the basic parameters. We can go deeper and also change the input levels, output levels, phase inversion, and threshold mode, in this case absolute. We can link it or go MS, and that way we can change the parameters based on the mono information or the stereo, which will be probably vocals, main vocals on the mono, and maybe background vocals on the sides, or cymbals on the sides, or other instruments that are stereo will be on the sides, and we can approach them with de-essing, or on the center instruments as well. In this case now they're linked up as stereo, so I'm only treating this the left and the right, not the mono stereo, but the general left and right. And I can see here right now it's set up just to start. So usually I'll listen by pressing the sidechain button, and when I do that, I'll only hear the information that is coming through the filter, the sidechain, and I can set it up to a certain frequency where I feel that it's the most harsh, and change the bandwidth to capture it. So with the frequency, frequency knob, I'll move it up and down, and I'll listen to see which frequency. And then with the curve, I can go from shelving wideband to really small and narrow. The ratio will help me in how much will be de-essed, and that goes and works in correlation with the threshold. Okay, so now we have a track here, and the mix is really good, so I'm not going to try to fix it or something. I did notice a bit on the high end that I can just make it a bit softer, and it's not that it needs it so much, but a small amount of it just makes it feel better. Sometimes that small amount is what makes it, you know, kind of feel finished or pro, if that's what you want to call it. So to figure out the frequency, we go to the side chain and we play with the frequency. When I'm doing this, it sounds kind of like a remix, you know, like it's opening, but it's basically I'm just opening the filter. So looking for that frequency that we're getting close because I can hear it a bit. Okay. Now when we go up here, I still have it, but I think we need that brightness. So we're going here. I'm checking now the curve. This is too big. Too small. Okay. And now ratio. I think the ratio would be fine here. Okay. So now I think we're gonna listen to it, but I set it already for 30, but we're gonna set it again now. We're taking it off sidechain. So sidechain was monitoring what feeds the de-esser and the filter settings, which the filter setting is the frequency and the bandwidth, which we call the curve here. So I'm taking it off sidechain. And now taking the threshold down. Now it's grabbing them. Now if I raise the level here and I go bypass, and I take it out of bypass, it feels just a little smooth on that highs. Here it's a bit, and to me that feels better right now. We can also approach a different frequency. Let's go like 10. Maybe go to a smaller bandwidth. That also does the job, but I think the 8 felt better with a bigger bandwidth. So now it feels bigger actually, because that high end was kind of poking. Now that it's a bit smooth, I think it feels better. Now here's what happens when I'll de-ess too much. It becomes muffled. So we find the point where it helps and not damages. Maybe bigger ratio. Okay, here it's nice, but it interferes with the beat a bit. So now it keeps the beat. So basically that de-esser will cover everything you need in de-essing.